Let us remember that we are in the holy presence of God. During this season of Advent, it brings us time to stop and think. As I was thinking about what Advent meant 2,000 years ago, or 2,000 plus years ago, picture it. The year was, more than 2,000 years ago. The world was not in a good place, according to the belief of the Jewish people, God's chosen ones. They had been unfaithful to God and his requirements of them. They believed this was the reason he allowed them to fall into the hands of their enemies and were currently enslaved. Through the prophets, God promised to send a Messiah, a Savior, to remove their affliction and bring them back to himself. Advent means the arrival of a notable person, thing, or event. We are focusing on the arrival of a notable person. For the Jewish people, that meant the arrival of the Messiah, God's chosen one, the Savior, their Savior, and our Savior. And so they waited for centuries for the arrival of their Messiah. All the signs were there, and yet God didn't send the Messiah as the Jewish people expected. God sent the Messiah in a different manner. The Messiah wasn't to be a king, nor a warrior, nor a conqueror in any form they recognized. He was meant to bring peace, healing, and forgiveness to a broken world. So they watched and waited, but many missed the event because they had defined how this should happen, and they missed the mark. It didn't fit their category of what God should do, so they were blind to what was happening. Despite the lack of faith among some, a young woman with no social standing, but great faith, said yes to God's birth of the Messiah, the Savior of the world. May we all wait and watch with the same anticipation as Mary during our Advent days. Live Jesus in our hearts.